I look for the answers a lot of times in places where there's no answers, or places where answers are bad answers, or places where answers are the answers that you don't want to have. Okay? I did that for the longest time. Now I look to God for my answers. Okay? And I also look to God for things that matter. Okay? Things that matter. Because this whole experience has brought me closer to God, whether I know it or not. So, this right here was a really hard project because A, DaVinci Resolve was made for Linux a while back, okay, but it was never updated. So, it was made for old Linux operating systems, okay, CentOS and Rocky OS, and both those distributions were kind of phased out. CentOS was phased out. Rocky OS was its replacement. Okay, and then also it was made for Rocky OS 8.6. Now it's on Rocky 9.6 or Rocky 10 actually. Okay, so I got off of those after a while because those were not working with my computer. I couldn't make the hardware for my computer work with those operating systems. Okay, I have NVIDIA GPUs. The NVIDIA GPUs would not work with those operating systems. I couldn't make it work. So I kept on trying and trying and trying. And I also realized that DaVinci OS, DaVinci app, the DaVinci app, the DaVinci Resolve app, couldn't even work with those with the dependencies fulfilled. But when you downloaded the DaVinci app, it needed dependencies to be filled. And I tried to fill all those dependencies, which I did. I filled all the dependencies I possibly could. And then I'd go to open the app, and the app would not open. It would just, my computer wouldn't even work to open it anymore. I'd try opening it for like a few seconds, and then I'd just give up. And I was like, why would I just give up? And I just tried it again, give up, try it again, give up. I realized that I needed a stronger operating system. I couldn't base it off of an operating system that A was outdated and B would not work with my hardware. And then I used the right hardware, okay, by using the right operating system and then putting in some work and research to figure out how it works. So now I'm using Mint OS. And I also learned some tricks along the way. Okay, there's an auto installer now that automatically gets the dependencies for DaVinci, which speeds up the process a lot, whether you know it or not. Because the thing was, if you went through manually and installed each one of the dependencies, okay, it would take probably about an hour. And then after that, there'd be more dependencies that you might not know about to make the installer work for DaVinci Resolve. Because you'd download the DaVinci Resolve installer, you'd have to fulfill all the dependencies, and then have the installer open up, and you'd install DaVinci Resolve. And I would get to that step at most of the operating systems. And then after I got to that step, it would just not work. The operating system wouldn't work, or the DaVinci Resolve app wouldn't work. Okay, the operating system wouldn't work for the app. So after a lot of tinkering with everything, I got Mint, put in some work, put in some time. Mint worked, and now I got DaVinci running, which is great. It's great, but it's funny, okay, that this is kind of how we run about our life, right? We think, what we have, we can just throw it away and not use it, okay? Like the GPU, right? We have a GPU. We can't just throw away the GPU and say, hey, look, we've been given this strong computing power. We've been given this strong processing power. We've been given this strong working power. we're just going to throw it away and see what happens, kind of thing. Okay. Or we're fine with running the operating system we're running right now without ever using what we've truly been given, right? Okay. We've been designed to use our power, right? And we've been designed to use operating systems, right? People have operating systems, whether you know it or not. A lot of operating systems that people have are motivators, okay, and also pleasure seeking behavior, okay. Sometimes motivators are pleasure seeking behaviors, and sometimes motivators are just action in general, okay. Now, I worked so hard on this project, but um, operating systems for people, okay, sometimes don't use all of the required hardware. They don't, okay. And sometimes to use all the required hardware, you have to go through a lot of pain and suffering, like I did the last few hours to make this operating system work for my app, okay. And sometimes the app that we're trying to run is a very powerful app that needs very powerful hardware that we just can't fulfill. And we have to be fine with that. Okay? But we shouldn't give up until we absolutely know it's not possible. And I still don't know how well it's going to operate on Linux right now. I haven't used the operating system yet. But even though it may work better on Apple or Windows devices, I have reasons why I want to use Linux. So I'm going to stay true to my beliefs with why I want to use Linux. And that's another thing we need to have. If we're going to use any operating system, any hardware, anything, we have to have strong faith in ourselves. Before we have strong faith in other people or strong faith in things. And part of my strong faith is having faith in God before I have faith in anything else. So I really prayed a lot. I really was distraught a lot because everything I did to make this Davinci Resolve app work was more and more and more stressful. Okay, from dependencies not being filled, trying to fulfill them, okay, to processes being broken, trying to fix them, to mistakes and errors that I was making, to actually locking myself out of the computer, locking myself completely out, okay. I was on the phone call with Jonah and I went into INIT3, okay, which is like a really low level access, like foundational level access control of your computer to try to make my NVIDIA graphics card work on Rocky OS. And I literally corrupted something. And then it just corrupted everything after that. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get back from this. And when I got back from it, I realized, okay, I got to still do this. I still got to do this. Tried it again. It corrupted everything even worse. And I almost was not able to get back in the computer, which wouldn't have been a big deal. I have a reset device right here, this Kali Linux reset device, which all it would do is just wipe the whole computer, put Kali Linux on it, and then reinstall everything again after getting a flash drive like this to boot off of the new operating system off of. But that would have been a pain in the neck, and I kept on running into error after error after error. And you know, sometimes it's good to take advice from people, right? It is, and you have to take advice from trusted people that know what they're doing and have skill and can prove themselves and prove their work, right? You don't just take trust from anybody off the street and say, I trust you now, okay, because you said that I can trust you, right? I learned from this also, I have to ask the right questions, which I wasn't asking the right questions. That's how you find the right people that will be able to help you. You have to learn the material enough to ask the right questions to learn more. I'm trying to learn those questions, and I'm trying to learn the material too to be able to teach people. And right now, I'm learning a lot, but it's been a great experience. What I've learned is to have faith in everything, and what I've also learned is if it wasn't for my girlfriend Jonah, I wouldn't have been able to make it through it like I have so far. Okay, she's going through a rough time right now. She just got good news. I'm not going to spoil the good news, but she just got really good news, and I just got this operating system. And I also got the the Davinci Resolve too. Okay, I keep on getting that. I keep on saying operating system and Davinci Resolve interchangeably, but I got the operating system Mint OS finally working after. Let's see how many operating systems I used. Well, it's not. It doesn't matter. But I've used about 5 operating systems. Okay, and then I finally got this operating system to work with DaVinci Resolve. So uh, it's been a great time. Okay. Anyway, I hope this video has been entertaining, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And one little surprise for you that I just want to show. Okay, real quick. It's kind of lame, but that's sure right there. Okay. Anyway, love every single one of you. Bye.